everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this star stitch dress, which can be made in any size. So for my dress I used a 5mm crochet hook and worsted weight yarn. So thank you very much for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. So to begin your dress, you want to start off by making a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, take your yarn and take your finger and wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice. Then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop, and then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, go in through this space and pull tight. And there you have a slip knot. So now once you have your slip knot, we are now going to make our foundation chain. And you can make your foundation chain as long or as short as you like, but the length of your foundation chain will depend on how big you want your dress to be. So if you have a look at my dress here, which I have already done, you can see that the foundation chain goes around the very top of the dress, so around the neckline. So you need to make your foundation chain long enough to go around the neckline of the person who your dress is for. So what I would recommend doing is taking a piece of clothing in the size that you want your dress to be. So for my dress, I'm just going to do a little baby size. So I'm going to take a t-shirt in the size that I want my dress to be. And then you want to make a foundation chain long enough to go around the neckline of that piece of clothing. And the longer you make your foundation chain, the bigger your dress will end up being. And your foundation chain must also be a multiple of 8. So you can chain 56, 64, 80, 88, 160. It's completely up to you as long as it is a multiple of 8. So make your foundation chain. So I have just finished making my foundation chain, and I ended up chaining 56, which is a multiple of 8, and you can see that this fits really nicely around my t-shirt, so around the neckline of the t-shirt. So this dress will end up being the size that I want. So for this dress, for a baby size, I chained 56 with a 5mm crochet hook. And then for this blue dress here, which is a toddler size, I chained 72, which is also a multiple of 8, with a 5mm crochet hook. So now once you have made your foundation chain, you want to take a piece of paper and a pen, and you want to write down that number. So you want to write down the number that you chained. So you can see here I have a multiple of 8, and then I have written down 56, which is the number that I chained. So this multiple of 8 is my foundation chain. And then you want to go ahead and divide that number, so the number that you just chained, by 4. So you want to divide your foundation chain number by 4. So I am going to divide 56 by 4, which gives me 14. But say you chain 64, you would divide that by 4, which would give you 16. Or say you chained 80, you would divide 80 by 4 to get 20. If you chained 88, you would divide that by 4 to get 22, and so on. But I have 56, my multiple of 8 was 56. So here, after multiple of 8 divided by 4, I am going to write 14, as 56 divided by 4 is 14. So like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this smaller number here, so the multiple of 8 divided by 4, and we are going to divide that number by 2. So we're going to cut it in half. So I have 14, so I'm going to divide that by 2 to get 7. But say you had 20, you would divide that by 2 to get 10. If you had 22, you would get 11, and so on. So I have 14, so I'm going to divide that by 2 to get 7. So like that. So I have jotted that number down as well. So now we have our multiple of 8, our multiple of 8 divided by 4, and then that number divided by 2. And now we are ready to move on to round 1 of our dress. And it's really important to make sure that you have these numbers written down and that you have done your calculations right. Otherwise, your dress will end up being a funny shape and it won't work out right. So make sure you have these numbers right and that you have written them down, and we're ready to continue with round 1. So we are now on to round 1 of our dress. And to begin this round, you want to chain 5. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 on top of our foundation chain. And now to begin this round, we're going to work a certain number of double crochets. And the number of double crochets that you need to start off working will depend on how long your foundation chain is. So if you have a look at our numbers, which we jotted down, we are going to work this number of double crochets. So for me, that is 7. So it's your smallest number. So it's your multiple of 8 divided by 4 divided by 2. So I'm going to work 7 double crochets, but for you that might be 10, it might be 8, 9, 11, 12, 15, depending on how long your foundation chain was to start. So take this smallest number here. So I'm going to work 7 double crochets, and we're going to work our first double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So here is the first chain from the hook, and here is the second chain, and into this chain we're going to do our first double crochet. So to do a double crochet, yarn over and go down into this chain, the second chain from the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 double crochet. So now yarn over and go down into the next chain and do 1 double crochet into this one as well. Then do 1 double crochet into the next chain. So there I have 3, and I need 7 in total, so I'm going to work 4 more double crochets, 1 into each chain, but you may have a completely different number, and just keep going, keep working double crochets until you have that number, until you have this smallest number here. So continue to work your double crochets. So I have just finished working those double crochets, and I have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but you may have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and so on, depending on how long your foundation chain was. And now into this next chain here, we are going to do a double crochet, then chain 1 and then another double crochet all into this chain. So yarn over, go down into the chain and do 1 double crochet, then chain 1 and yarn over and go back down into the same chain again for a second time and work a double crochet. So there we have double crochet, chain 1 double crochet all into that chain. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work another set of double crochets. So if you have a look at our numbers which we wrote down, we are going to work this number of double crochets. So this is our middle number, so the multiple of 8 divided by 4. So for me that is 14, but for you that might be 16, 18, 20, 22, 30 and so on. So we're going to do this number of double crochets, one into each chain. So yarn over and go into the next chain and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 into the next one and 1 into the next. So there I have 3, and I'm going to keep going until I have 14, but you will just keep going until you have this number here. Keep doing 1 double crochet into each chain until you have your middle number. So I have finished working those double crochets and I have 14, but you may have a completely different number. And now into this next chain here, we are going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to do 1 double crochet, chain 1 and then a second double crochet all into this next chain. So yarn over, go down into the chain and do 1 double crochet, then chain 1 and yarn over, go back down into the same chain and do a second double crochet like that. And now what we're going to do is we are going to work some more double crochets, and we are going to work this number again. So the same number that we just did, for me that was 14, so it's our middle number, our multiple of 8 divided by 4. We're going to work this number of double crochets again, 1 into each chain. So I'm going to yarn over and go into the next chain and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 into the next one and 1 into the next, and keep going until you have that number, the same number that we just did, our multiple of 8 divided by 4. So I have finished working those double crochets, and now into the next chain we're going to do the same thing as we have done twice before. We're going to do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet all into this next chain. So go into the chain and do double crochet, chain 1 and then a second double crochet back down into the chain like that. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do this number of double crochets again. So the multiple of 8 divided by 4, the middle number. So I'm going to do 14 more double crochets, 1 into each chain, just as we did twice before. But for you, you might be doing 16 or 18 or 20 or so on. So go into the next chain and do 1 double crochet, then do a second one and keep going until you have that number, the multiple of 8 divided by 4 again. So like that. So there I have done those 14 double crochets again, but you may have a completely different number. And now for the last time, into this next chain, we're going to do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So yarn over, go into the chain and do 1 double crochet, chain 1, and then a second double crochet back down into this chain. And now what we're going to do to finish round 1 is we're going to do 1 double crochet into the rest of the chains, and you should find that that should be this number here, so your smallest number. So continue by just doing 1 double crochet into each chain until the end of the round, and that should be the smallest number. So for me, I should find that that is 7. I should have 7 chains left. So I have finished working that for round 1, and this is what I have. So you can see that this section which opens up here is the back. These 2 sections on the side are the armholes, and then this section is the front. And this round may have seemed very complicated, but the rest of the rounds of our dress are really simple. And if you think your dress is a little bit small at this point, don't worry, it gets bigger and bigger with each round that you do. So now we are ready to move on to round 2. So we are now on to round 2. And to begin this round, you want to chain 1 and turn. And this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now to begin this round, we are going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch along until you reach your very first chain 1 space here. So we're going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch until we get to the first chain 1 space, and the number of double crochets that you will need to do will depend on how long your foundation chain was at the beginning. So we're going to start off by yarning over and going down into this very first stitch here, as our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and working 1 double crochet. Then you want to do 1 into the next one, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and keep doing this until you reach the first chain 1 space. So I have finished working those double crochets, and I have reached my first chain 1 space here. So I have done 1 double crochet into this last double crochet before the space here, and now I have reached that chain 1. And what we're going to do is we are going to go into this chain 1 space, and we're going to work double crochet, chain 1 double crochet. So the same set of stitches as we used a few times last round. So yarn over and go down into this space, actually go down into the chain 1 space and do 1 double crochet, then chain 1 and yarn over, go back down into the same space for a second time and do a second double crochet. So there we have double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into that chain space. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch along until you reach the next chain 1 space here. So do 1 double crochet into each stitch until the next chain 1 space. So yarn over, go down into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet into this one, then do 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and continue this all the way along until the next space, the next chain 1 space. So I have finished working those double crochets and I have reached the next chain 1 space here. And into this space we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet all into the space. So yarn over, go down into the space and do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet. Like that. And now for the rest of round 2, we're just going to continue to work that all the way along. We're going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch until the next chain 1 space. Then go into the space and do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet into the space. Then do 1 double crochet into each stitch along until the next chain 1 space here, the last one. and do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into that chain 1 space, and then just do 1 double crochet into each stitch along to the end of the round. So continue to work that all the way around for round 2. So I'm just coming to the end of round 2, and at the very end of this round you need to make sure that you're working your last double crochet into the last stitch here, so into the last double crochet and not the chain 1. So yarn over and go into this double crochet and work your last double crochet like that. So there we have worked that all the way around for round 2, and this is what you should have, and we're ready to move on to round 3. So we are now on to round 3, and the next part of our dress is very simple. We are just going to repeat round 2, so the round that we just did, again and again and again, until you feel that the top part of your dress or the yoke of your dress is big enough. So for this dress here, my blue dress, I repeated round 2 4 times. So you can see I have round 1 and 2, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 repeats of round 2. So that gave me this size here. But you could do 3 repeats, you could do 4, 5, 6, 7. It's completely up to you depending on how big you want your dress to be. So just keep repeating round 2 until you feel that the top section or the yoke of the dress is big enough. So that will get you to this part. So to begin each round, you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 never counts as a stitch. And now we're just going to do 1 double crochet into each stitch along until you get to your very first chain 1 space here. So yarn over, go down into the first stitch and do 1 double crochet. Then do 1 into the next one and 1 into the next. And keep doing this until you reach the first chain space. So there I have reached the first chain 1 space, and now we're going to yarn over, go into the space and do double crochet, chain 1 and then another double crochet. And then we're just going to repeat this all the way around. Do 1 double crochet into each stitch until you get to the next chain space, and then do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet into that space. Then do 1 double crochet into each stitch along until you get to the next chain space, and into this space do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, do 1 double crochet into each stitch along until the next space, do the same thing into this one, double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, and then do 1 double crochet into each stitch until the end of the round. And then you want to begin your next repetition. Chain 1 and turn, and do that all the way along, and keep repeating that round again and again and again. So just keep doing repeats of round 2, the round that we just did, until you feel that the top part of your dress is big enough. So I have just finished working those repeats of round 2, and this is what I have. So for my dress, which is just a little baby size, I ended up doing 3 repeats of round 2. So I have round 1 and 2, and then I have 3 repeats of round 2. But for my blue dress, which is a toddler size, I did 4 repeats, and if you were doing an older child size, you may want to do 5 or 6, and the bigger size you are doing, the more repeats you may want to do. But I have just done 3 repeats, and I now feel that the top part of my dress is big enough. So if you fold it like this is the back. These sections here will become the armholes, and then this section is the front. So now once you have finished doing those repeats, we are ready to move on to the next round. So this round is very important, as in this round we are going to take our big loop which we have here, and we are going to turn it into a dress shape. So we're going to add in a front, a back and 2 armholes. So to begin this round, you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And now we are going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch along until you get to the first chain 1 space. So go down into the first stitch and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 into the next, and do this all the way along up until the first chain 1 space. So I have finished working those double crochets all the way along, and I have reached my very first chain 1 space here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and go down into this space and do 1 double crochet into the space. So do 1 double crochet into that chain 1 space, and then we're going to stop here and skip all of these stitches up until the next space here. So stop after that double crochet, skip all of the stitches until you get to this next chain 1 space, and what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, go into this next chain 1 space here and work 1 double crochet. So work a double crochet as usual into this next space, and there you can see that has created our very first armhole. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch along up until the next space here. So do 1 double crochet into this next stitch, and 1 into the next, and do this all the way along up until this next chain 1 space. So I have finished doing those double crochets and I have reached this next space. So now we are going to go into the space, yarn over, go into that chain 1 space and do 1 double crochet. But now just like before, stop here and skip all of these stitches up until the next space. So until you reach this next chain 1 space, which is here, and yarn over, go into this next chain 1 space and do a double crochet. So kind of pull your work together and do 1 double crochet into this next space, and there we have made our next armhole. And now to finish off this round, we're going to do 1 double crochet into the rest of the stitches. So just work double crochets all the way along for the rest of the round. So do 1 double crochet into this next stitch and 1 into the next, and keep doing this until you reach the very end. So I am just coming to the end of that round. So I have done double crochets all the way along, and I have 1 last stitch to work into. But whilst working this last double crochet, I am going to change colours. So in the next round of our dress, we are going to be making the star stitch. So we're going to be adding in this star stitch stripe. And for my dress, I want this stripe to be in a different colour. So I'm going to change colours now at the end of this round so that I have my new colour ready to use for next round. But if you want your dress to be in one solid colour and you do not want this stripe to be in a different colour, then just work 1 last double crochet into this last stitch as usual. So just work 1 double crochet as you usually would into the last stitch. But if you do want to change colours, yarn over and go into the last stitch and start to work 1 double crochet, but then stop here, and usually we would yarn over and pull through these 2 loops to complete the stitch. But we're not going to do that. We're going to drop the yarn that we were using and take our new yarn or our new colour. So I'm going to go with a purple one for this dress. So take your new yarn, place it over the end of your crochet hook and pull it through. And there we have completed the stitch and the round and changed colours at the same time. And you can now cut the yarn that you were using. So I'm going to cut this pink yarn, leaving a tail to weave in later. And we're ready to move on to the next round. So we are now on to the next round of our dress. And this round is the first round of our star stitch stripe. So to begin this round, you want to chain 3 and turn. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3 and turn. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go down into this second chain from the hook. So here's the first chain from the hook and here is the second. And insert your hook into this chain and yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to go down into this next chain. So this is the first chain of the chain 3. Insert your hook into that chain and yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to go down into this first stitch. So go down into this first one here. So this is the last double crochet from last round. And yarn over and pull up a loop. Then insert your hook into the next stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. And then go into the next stitch. And yarn over and pull up a loop. And there you should have 6 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops to complete the stitch. And now you want to chain 1. So chain 1, and there you can see we have made our very first star. So now we're moving on to the second star. And to begin this star, we're going to go into the eye of the previous one. So go into this little hole here, which is the eye of the previous star. Insert your hook into this stitch or into the eye, yarn over and pull up a loop. And then you want to insert your hook into this space here. So right before the last spoke of the previous star. So you can see all of these lines here are the spokes, and this is the very last spoke, and you want to go into the space right before that last spoke. So into this space before the last spoke of the previous star, and yarn over and pull up a loop. Then you want to insert your hook into this stitch here. So this is the last stitch that we pulled up a loop from in the previous star. So it's kind of raised like this, and you can see it already has a spoke in it. You want to go into this stitch and yarn over and pull up a loop. Then you want to go into the next stitch and pull up a loop and go into the next one and pull up a loop. So there you should have 6 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and yarn over and pull through all 6. And then chain 1. So chain 1. And we have done our second star. So now for the rest of this round, we are just going to keep making stars all the way along, just like we did this second one here. So we're going to keep repeating this second star all the way along. So start off each star by going down into the eye of the previous star and yarning over and pulling up a loop. And then you want to go down into the space right before the last spoke of the previous star. So this line here is the very last spoke. So you want to go in right before that and pull up a loop. Then go into this stitch here. So this is the last stitch that we pulled up a loop from in the previous star. Go into this stitch and pull up a loop. Then go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then pull up a loop from the next one. And you should have 6 loops on your hook, and yarn over, pull through all 6 loops and chain 1. So there we have done our next star in the exact same way, and you want to keep repeating that all the way along. So we're going to go into the eye of the previous star, pull up a loop right before the last spoke of the previous star, pull up a loop into the last stitch that was pulled up in the previous star, pull up a loop, then into each of the next 2 stitches. You should have 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 and chain 1. Then repeat that again. Into the eye, pull up a loop before the last spoke, pull up a loop into the last stitch that was pulled up, pull up a loop, then into each of the next 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops and chain 1, and continue to repeat this all the way along. So I have finished working that all the way around for that round, and this is what you should have. And when you do that star stitch round, it's really important that you don't work too tight. So make sure that you don't work your stars too tightly, otherwise you may end up with your dress kind of going in at this point, which you don't want. So just try to work them kind of loosely all the way along. So I have worked my very last star at the end here, and you should find that you are left with one last stitch. So you're left with one last stitch at the end, and into this last stitch we're going to do 1 half double crochet. So to do a half double crochet, yarn over, go down into the last stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So there you can see we have completed that round, and this is what you should have. So you have your dress, and we have the shape of our dress from the previous round, and then we have the start of our star stitch stripe in the middle, and we're ready to move on to the next round, which is the last round of the star stitch. So to begin this round, you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And we're now going to go down into this first stitch here and do 1 half double crochet. So yarn over, go down into the first stitch and do 1 half double crochet. And now for the rest of this round, what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 half double crochets into the eye of every single star along. So last round when we chained 1 with the stars, we got these eyes here, so these little circles or holes in each star. And in this round we're going to go into every single eye and do 2 half double crochets. So here is the first star, and then this is the eye of the first star. So yarn over, go into this eye and do 2 half double crochets, both into the eye of this one, like that. Then yarn over, go into the eye of the next star and do 2 half double crochets, both into this one, both into the eye of this star. Then do 2 half double crochets, both into the next. And continue this all the way along, 2 half double crochets into the eye of every single star. So I'm just coming to the end of that round. So I have done those 2 half double crochets into the eye of each star all the way along. So I have gone into this very last eye and done 2 half double crochets. And now to finish off this round, we're going to do 1 half double crochet into this last stitch at the end. So do 1 half double crochet into this very last stitch at the end, like that. And now what we need to do is, before we move on to our next round, we need to join our dress. So at the moment our dress is open at the back here, and we need to join this, as we're just going to have this opening at the back, which makes it easier to get on and off. So you can put some buttons up here, but the rest of our dress is going to be joined. So to join your dress, what we're going to do is you want to take your work, so take where we just finished off, and then take the other side of your dress, and we're going to go into the very first half double crochet of the round. So here is the first half double crochet that we worked. Insert your hook into this stitch. And now if you have done your dress in one solid colour, then you want to work a slip stitch here as usual. So you will yarn over and pull through these 2 loops on your hook to work a slip stitch and join your dress. But whilst doing my slip stitch, I'm going to change colours back to the colour that I was using, as I want the rest of my dress to be back in this light pink colour. So if you do want to change colours back to the colour you were using, insert your hook into the first half double crochet of the round, drop the yarn that you were using, then take your new yarn, so I'm going back with my old yarn, place it over the end of your crochet hook, and then pull it through both loops, like that. And there we have done a slip stitch and joined our dress, and we have also changed colours at the same time. So now you can fasten off the colour that you were using, so cut this yarn, and we're ready to move on to the next round. So we are now on to round 1 of the skirt of our dress, and to begin this round you want to chain 1 and turn, and if your work is coming apart here, that's okay, just pull your ends tight and it will come back together. And then when you weave your ends in, make sure you pull them nice and tight first. So now to begin this round, we're going to start off by going down into this first stitch here and doing 1 double crochet. So do 1 double crochet down into this very first stitch. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do 6 more double crochets, or 7 in total with the one that we have just done. So I'm going to go into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet. So there we have 2, so I need 7 in total, so I'm going to do 5 more. So there I have 7 double crochets in total. And now into this next stitch, we are going to do 2 double crochets. So you want to do 2 double crochets, both into this next one. So like that. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. You want to do 7 double crochets, 1 into each stitch, then 2 double crochets both into the next one, then 7 double crochets, 1 into each stitch, then 2 double crochets both into the next stitch, all the way around. So I'm going to do 7 double crochets, then 2 double crochets into the next, and continue this all the way around for round 1. So I have finished working that all the way around, and when you get to the end, if you don't have the exact right number of stitches, it really doesn't matter. You can see here I have just finished off by doing 4 last double crochets. You don't have to have the exact number, just work that all the way around and just stop wherever you are at the very end in the last stitch. And then to finish off this round, we're going to go into the first double crochet that we worked and work a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through both loops on our hook. So there we have round 1 of the skirt complete, and we're ready to move on to round 2. So we are now on to round 2, and the rest of the skirt of our dress is very simple. We are just going to repeat rounds of double crochet again and again and again until you feel that your dress is long enough. So we're going to start off each round with a chain 1 and turn, and then we're just going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch along, and then we're going to finish off the round by doing a slip stitch into the first double crochet that we worked. Then repeat that again, chain 1 and turn and do 1 double crochet into each stitch around, and finish off by doing a slip stitch into the first double crochet. And then you can just keep repeating that round as many times as you like until you have the length dress that you want. So to begin each round, start off by chaining 1 and turning. So chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 never counts as a stitch. Then go down into this first stitch here and do 1 double crochet. Then do 1 double crochet into the next stitch and 1 into the next, and do this all the way around. Then when you get to the very end, do 1 double crochet into this last stitch here, and then finish off by doing a slip stitch into this first double crochet. And then just keep repeating that round for as many times as you like. And once you have done that, this is what you will have. You will have the skirt of your dress finished. And then once you have the length that you like, work your last slip stitch and fasten off. So pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn. And then you want to go ahead and weave all of your ends into the inside of your dress. So take a yarn needle and make sure that all of the ends are weaved into the inside of your dress nice and securely. And then for this dress here, what I did was I attached some yarn in the bottom of this opening here on the left side, and then I chained 1, and then I did 1 double crochet into each stitch up the side until I got to the very top, and then I just fastened off and weaved that end into the inside, and this gave me this nice little edge here to finish it off. And then I added 1 button at the top, but you could do 2, 3, 4, as many buttons as you like down the back. And if you're doing this for a baby, you may want to use little popper snaps instead of buttons. And then once you have done that, we have finished. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it easy to follow. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos, and in the description box below this video I will leave a link to my Twitter, so if you would like to go and follow me on there, I always like to post updates and pictures of upcoming tutorials, and I would also really love to see photos of your crochet work on Twitter as well. And I will also have a link in the description box to where you can find some of my written patterns if you are interested. And thanks again for watching. Bye!